Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It is July 1st, 2024, so we got to talk about the monthly weather summary and talk about Beryl and the Long Island weather outlook as well. So as we head into the month of July here, today was a partly sunny day. Some areas had more sun than others. Actually, the western Long Island actually had a decent amount of sun today. But there was some clouds that popped up over New Jersey, even a few showers actually over the east end there. There were even a couple of showers over there. One thing you'll notice here in this satellite, look at that. I'm going to pause that for a moment. It looks like there's some smoke around. We'll just stop right over. Yep, right there. You see that? That looks like smoke to me. And I noticed it this morning, too, that there was some smoke up in Canada, and I'm wondering if we're going to see some of that. You can see a little bit of it. And today we did have some periods of mostly sunny conditions, particularly western Long Island. So I did see a few pines and pine lawn. But you could even see a little bit of that smoke when the sun got low in the sky. You can see just a little bit of it here, but as the sun went down, you could definitely start seeing it. And you can see there, you could definitely see that smoke right there. So, yeah, we had a little bit of smoke around. Maybe a little bit. Maybe we'll have a little bit of it tomorrow as well. Now, I could run this satellite even. Let's see if I can go even longer here on this. 240 is like the maximum. Now, let's see if we can kind of show what it looked like this morning. Because I noticed it this morning too. Yeah. See, look. You can see a little bit of it right there. So, yeah, very interesting to say the least. We may be dealing with. I got to figure out where that smoke is coming from. But let's go look at our current conditions right now. We'll get to the rest of the country, and obviously you see more heat there, and we'll talk about Beryl. But let's first talk about what we got outside right now. Temperatures, Farmingdale's reporting 74, 70 degrees at Islip. The dew point's up to 61 already. Really? Wow. Dew points were lower. Let me just see if they had a sea breeze or something. Why are they cooler than everybody else? Oh, yeah, look at that. So Islip got a little bit of a sea breeze. That's very interesting. We didn't get that here. Right around 8:40, the winds went from northwest to east-southeast and then went back to north again. So that kind of brought the dew points up. But dew points are generally in the 50s today and breezy conditions with a north-northwest wind. So let's go look at our highs and lows. Very interesting that a sea breeze did develop in Suffolk County. Very, very interesting. I could see by the cooler temperatures that it did develop out there to cool things down a little bit. Temperatures out there are only in the 60s. We got 70s here in Nassau. And Jersey also in the 60s, so maybe they got a breeze too, the Jersey Shore area. So let's go look at the highs today. Highs, low 80s and upper 70s. And cooler on the South Fork because they had plenty of clouds and some showers. Actually, both Twin Forks had clouds and showers. And then low 80s for much of Long Island, though I noticed upper 70s over here on the North Shore, low 80s. Also in most of New Jersey as well. Let's go look at the lows. Probably are the current temperatures are probably the lows, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. So, yeah, they are. 62 at West. Yeah, low 60s pretty much. The current temperatures are the lows. Some areas might have gotten down. I think New Jersey got down to the low 60s. So their lows are in the low 60s. That 59, though, had to be this morning probably. So, yeah, there was some rain out on the forks. If we look at precipitation, we'll go 12 hours here. And you'll see they got rain out on the forks here, mainly the South Fork. Got some rainfall from some of those spot showers that did develop today. And we did have some of them around. If we go look at the Vent2Sky radar, which we'll do in a moment. Do that right now. Radar. We'll bring you back to like 2 o'clock, and you'll see there were some showers, even some thunderstorms over New England. A little bit of instability in the air there triggered some of that off. So let's get to the climate. Let's first talk about the storm reports from yesterday's thunderstorms. We kind of went through some of these already, but thunderstorm wind damage in Danbury, thunderstorm wind damage spotter reported large tree down in Oxford, thunderstorm wind damage again in Danbury, so Danbury, and then flooding in Danbury too. Brewster, vehicle stuck in the water, so we had some flooding. Trees down in Garfield, New Jersey, and damage. So some of these I covered already, like yesterday, so let's not talk too much about that. And let's go talk about June and how we did for June. For the month of June here, we're going to go to the monthly weather summary for June, and then we'll get to the daily. I only get the daily out of the way first. So islip at a high of 81 and a low of 61. Right at normal. 81 is the normal high for today. But the day was 3 degrees below normal. Central Park. Waiting for Central Park here. You know, I hate the spinning circles. It's so annoying. Come on. Really? Central Park, high of 79. And let's LaGuardia. All right, we want Central Park. Central Park, I said. High of 81 and a low of 64. 3 degrees below normal for the day. So let's now go to the monthly weather summary. And we'll start with islip. So, islip, average high of 80.3. The normal 77.2, so that put us 3.1 degrees above normal for the average high. The average minimum of 63.6 puts us 2.7 degrees above the normal for the 60.9, which is supposed to be our average minimum. And for the mean, 72, supposed to be 69, so 3 degrees above normal at islip. And rainfall, only 2.44 inches. That's quite significantly below the normal rainfall of 4 inches. Let's look at Central Park now. And Central Park had a average high of 83. Normal supposed to be 79.7, 3.3 degrees above normal. Average minimum of 67.1, normal 64.4, 2.7 degrees above normal with that. So the mean of 75.1 is 3.1 degrees above the normal of 72. Precipitation only 1.71 inches. That's well below the normal of 4.54 inches. That's almost 3 inches below normal for rainfall. So after having a string of above normal precipitation months, June was dry. And let's go look at Newark, New Jersey. Let's see how they did here. Now, of course, no surprise. Jersey always a lot warmer than we are, and even their temperature anomalies are warmer. The average maximum of 87.5 was well above the normal value of 81.8. That's 5.7 degrees above normal on the high there at Newark. The average minimum 67.4. Normal value is 63.6. That's 3.8 degrees above normal. That gives them a mean of 77.5, which is 4.8 degrees above normal of the mean of 72.7. Almost 5 degrees above normal. And same thing with the rainfall. Only 1.75 inches of rain. Normally, we're supposed to see 4.34 inches of rain. So almost 2.5 inches below normal for rainfall at Newark. That's, again, significantly quite above normal in New Jersey. Not really a surprise at all. And actually, I kind of want to look at the climate report as well for Mount Holly, some of the Mount Holly sites as well, especially for Atlantic City Airport. So let's go to Atlantic City Airport and their monthly weather summary for they don't have the new one out yet. That's nice. All right. I'm sure they're well above normal. New Jersey always we were 3 degrees above normal. Jersey, tack on another 2 more degrees above normal. They're 5 degrees above normal in Jersey because they don't have the moderating influence of the ocean. So they just bake because they're inland. That's why they call it the armpit state. It's kind of in an armpit. Heat just gets stuck over there, you know. So let's go to talk about the other story that we're going to talk about here, which is Hurricane Beryl. So here's Hurricane Beryl right now. Oh, is this a Category 5 now? So Hurricane Beryl, NOAA hurricane hunters find Beryl even stronger as it moves quickly across the southeastern Caribbean, and a hurricane warning has been issued for Jamaica. So here we go. I was saying I would not be surprised if the thing gets even stronger, and sure enough, it is. As of 8 p.m., its location is 13.4 north, 64.0 west. The models just cannot factor in how warm the ocean is. It's about 575 miles east-southeast of Isla Beata, Dominican Republic, and about 910 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. Maximum sustained winds are 155 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at 21 miles an hour. At least it's moving at a good clip. The minimum central pressure 938 millibars, 27.70 inches. I'm wondering if this could set the record for the strongest hurricane in July, perhaps. So hurricane warning is in effect for Jamaica. Tropical storm warning is in effect for south coast of Dominican Republic. All right. So let's go and read the statement here. All right. It is still a Category 4 hurricane, but it is on the verge of becoming a Category 5 hurricane. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 40 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 125 miles from the center. So, yeah, this is getting to be a larger storm, a very significant storm. Let's look at the graphics here. We'll go to the cone here, and you'll see that this is going to remain a strong hurricane, probably right until it hits the Yucatan. And it could go over the Yucatan, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this thing becomes a hurricane again when it enters the Gulf, because we have such warm waters in this area. All right? It might hit Jamaica as a major hurricane. They don't have it hitting Jamaica as a major hurricane, but I think it very well could. So let's take a look at Beryl right now. We're going to first start with the satellite imagery from this site here. So let's go to here. We'll take a look at Beryl. And take a look at Beryl. I mean, this is when you see a really dangerous, powerful hurricane. When you see that nearly perfect symmetry, that perfect buzzsaw. Look at the eye. It's almost clear in the eye. This is a very, I mean, it's horrible, but it's a very nice-looking hurricane. This is almost as perfect as a hurricane as you can get. This thing is unbelievable. It really, really is. And I still don't know what it did to the Leeward Islands yet. I don't know what it did in the Leeward Islands. We're going to find that out in a moment. But this is really, really just terrifying to see already. And it's only July 1st. And this was the first Category 4 hurricane ever recorded in the month of June. What else does that tell you about the warming planet that we have right now? It's just more proof of it. More proof of it. So let's go to tropical tidbits as well. We're going to go ahead and look at this as well. So let's go to current storms and take a look at more imagery of Hurricane Beryl. Take a look at this. I mean, this is this is really something to see. Look at that. This is on the verge of becoming Category 5. It really is. It really, really is. Look at that. Look at that thing. I mean, that is just something to see, and I'm sure it's having large coastal impacts in this whole area as far as coastal flooding goes, even if you're not getting directly hit by this thing. I'm sure if you were saying Aruba, your waves are probably pretty big from this thing. This is incredible. It really, really is. And none of the models really even had even a handle on it as far as how strong it could get. The models underestimated it because the models they just can't keep updating the models fast enough to deal with the warming world we're in. So the tracks, they tend to agree. It could brush Jamaica. It might wind up hitting Jamaica. I hope it brushes it and doesn't hit them, because Jamaica is a country that really they can't really afford this. It would be devastating if it does hit Jamaica. It will hit the Yucatan, and then it's going to go into the Gulf, and then it could reemerge as a possibly. I wouldn't even be surprised if this thing becomes another hurricane again, as it winds up making a landfall perhaps in Louisiana or Texas. This far out. You can see it's starting to curve it a little to the north compared to what we were looking at yesterday on the spaghetti model runs. Models do weaken it. Some of them take it up to a Cat.5. I think this thing's going to hit a Category 5. I think we're going to see a Category 5 out of this. And they keep it a Category 4 for the next 24 to 36 hours and then slowly weaken it. It may not weaken as quick as these models think. And you can see some of them bring the strength back up again. So the models underestimated this storm, and they're probably going to continue to underestimate this storm. Let's take a look at some of these ensembles here, and you can see that that moisture from Beryl. We may eventually see some of the moisture from Beryl eventually work its way into the east, perhaps in a very long range. But you can see here, this is definitely something that the Gulf Coast is going to have to watch, especially from Louisiana on west, for sure, because this is a storm that's, it's just incredible to see a storm this powerful. It really is. Just to give you an idea of how powerful this is, let's go over to windy.com. and we'll just show you, and then we'll go back to tropical tidbits in a little bit. But let's go and just show you the waves generated from this thing, because look at that. Look at the waves that are being generated. So even if you're not getting a direct heat, even if you're in Puerto Rico, you're definitely seeing some high surf. You're definitely seeing some high surf. And in the core of this thing, I mean, yeah, 34 foot. I wouldn't be surprised with some 50-foot waves. There's going to be terrible storm surge. I'm not too familiar with the terrain of these islands. I think they're sort of mountainous. So, but this is an area that really dealt with a lot, I'm sure, from the storm. And now it's threatening Jamaica. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. And just, it's incredible to see. It really is. And if we just, I mean, I'm not even going to look at the models here for the wind, because the models just, at this point, they've underestimated the storm. I know they're going to try to weaken it too quickly. They just cannot keep up. If we go to wind here, you'll see, yeah, this model is just way off with the wind. Way off. Winds are so much stronger than that. 82 miles an hour, that's it. Yeah. So that's what I mean. The models cannot handle this thing. This is the European, by the way, which is doing horribly, I might add. Switch to the GFS, it might, no, they're all doing horribly. Oh, all right. Let's go back to tropical tidbits. I don't know why the site is giving us that kind of information, but let's look at the weather map now, show you what we got. How we spoke about Beryl. And lastly, we're just going to actually talk about Windward Islands here and see if there's been any news out of them as far as racing across. It seems like we do have some videos here. We do have some information from the Weather Channel here. Beryl rips apart Caribbean islands at first landfall. So it looks like they've had a lot of flooding here. Storm surge. Now, if I can get some more videos, I'll share with you here. Just absolute disaster over there. Absolute disaster. Looking at our weather map, you see high pressure is in control right now. We're going to bring us dry air for a couple more days before things start getting humid again. You'll see we got a front that's you got severe weather in the upper Midwest right now. Moving this into day 2, you see that high start to slide. Tomorrow will still be nice. Then it starts to slide offshore Wednesday. So Wednesday night we start seeing more clouds and increases in humidity. The Storm Prediction Center, you can see a slight risk in the upper Midwest. Going into tomorrow, we have these enhanced risk now in the upper Midwest that we'll have to watch. And then going into day 3, it starts moving east a little bit. Let's go to the weather and hazards map now, and we will go and we will look and see what's going on here. So you can see there's a lot of heat, extreme heat advisories here in the south. Looks like Louisiana dealing with a excessive heat warning. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't sneeze, and when I come back in here, I sneeze. Excessive heat warnings remain throughout Louisiana and also up into Oklahoma as well. Around Tulsa, I could see surrounded by heat advisories. And then go north of that, it looks like we do have one tornado watch in southeast Nebraska, flash flood advisories, and then going into New Mexico, we got flash flood watches as well. So, and then we head into California where there's run of the red flag warning in looks like Utah, southwest Utah, and then more excessive heat warnings for California, interior California. It looks like. And also red flag warnings for part of California as well, surrounded by excessive heat watches. So there's still a lot of heat around, that's for sure, just to give you an idea of what they've been dealing with here in Mississippi and Louisiana. Let's see, Baton Rouge got up to 99. Look at the dew point, 75. So very hot, near 100 degrees, and humidity, that's also very high. That makes it feel even hotter than that. Look at that, dew point almost hit 80. 79-degree dew point. That's insane. Looks like they had a thunderstorm roll through as well. So really disgustingly, very, very rough conditions. We could look at Tulsa as well. So we're going to start seeing some of this humidity make its way into our area. Tulsa, 88. They got up to 97. and the dew point there is 75 degrees. So yeah, very oppressive conditions. Humidity not quite as bad as it has been in Louisiana, but still really oppressive, atrocious, disgusting humidity. And in California, you got the dry heat. Bakersfield, they hit 99 today, but at least the humidity dew point there is only 49, so it's not as humid. It's still hot. All right, it's still hot. If we look at the highs today, we'll put the max temperatures on the screen. You see plenty of hundreds in here. A lot of heat going all the way up the California Valley, even places like Stockton, Sacramento, around 100 degrees. Very, very hot conditions there. And the dew point actually isn't that low. That one's reporting dew point is 63, which is not that low. Stockton, it's still 99, and they hit 102. You got to go right on the coast, literally, in California, you get relief. But they have mountains on the coast. So the breeze doesn't necessarily make it that far inland if you're in California. For instance, 90 at Hollister, but if you go by the shore, it's much cooler. So you got to be right on the shore, get some kind of relief here. San Francisco was cooler at least, but you got to go right on the shore because the minute you go inland, you're going to blaze. You know, that breeze isn't going to make it in. Those mountains are going to block it. And it's going to be hot as hell over there. So here are the highs, by the way, for the south. You can see again a lot of hot weather, but for us, very comfortable. Enjoy it while it lasts. So let's go to the models next. And we'll go and look at the upper air first. So let's go to North America. Let's look at 250. And you'll see here that there's that little trough that brings in the cooler air. But then we start seeing that ridge start building a little bit. You start seeing that ridge starting to build, especially at the weekend. That's going to bring in the warmth and the humidity. And you do see a little reflection of a tropical system here. Right here in the Atlantic, as we get toward next week. And you'll see another trough coming in. And then after that, it's just the jet stream just goes way up into Canada, and we could be dealing with a lot of heat. To me, that looks like a very hot pattern as we get toward the end of the period there. Very hot. So I'm not looking forward to that at all. This is the 18Z GFS. We'll see if there's anything different on the 12Z, because we all know they tend to look different. But no, they look pretty much alike at this point. No sense changing it. The Oro has done so badly lately with I don't even feel like looking at it, so you know I'm not. So let's stick with the GFS at this point. So here's the GFS. I will look at the Euro, but let's stick with the GFS right now. I'll take a glance at it. You can see that upper ridge starts. There's Beryl. You can see Beryl right there. Kind of loses it there over the Yucatan. But you also notice there's another low that forms over here. Actually gets pushed southward because you got this big ridge in the Atlantic. And then it could move back westward again. And then we might see that come close to our area, perhaps. But you'll notice big ridging toward the end of the period. A lot of ridging. I'll go ahead and I'll look at the European. And we're missing the regular European now. I think you have to use the AI. I think they want to make you use the AI now. So, which I don't care for. European, of course, looking a little different with some troughing next week, which I don't know if I'm buying that at all. So this is the 060. It's an old run. Why would I even look at that? So I'm not even going to bother. Let's look at the temperature anomalies. Now, so we're seeing below normal temperatures. Enjoy it while it lasts, because then you start seeing the reds take over, and you also start seeing above normal temperatures in Canada too. A lot of above normal temperatures in the east. Still not terribly brutal. You look at the jet stream and think it would be worse, but it may very well be underestimating how hot it's going to get. When I see the jet stream that far north, that means there's going to be a lot of heat. So it may very well be underestimating how hot things are actually going to get. I want to see if the 12Z looks any different. You notice it's very much above normal in Canada again, so that could start setting the stage for some more fires, perhaps. So let's go to the CONUS view, and we'll look at the surface. Excuse me. This place is just I'm allergic to this place. It's funny, when I'm on the outside, I have no problems. Just when I'm in here. Uh, let's go look at the the surface. So you see that high, that's going to build that. That's going to keep us nice. One nice day tomorrow, maybe a little bit on Wednesday. Then it starts moving away, and then we start seeing that ridge in the Atlantic take over. And we start seeing a little more moisture come into the picture, so deal with more humidity and shower and thunderstorm chances as we get into the weekend. It'll just be chances, but you will see that you see those chances. And you see that high tries to build down around the middle of the month there. I mean, you see there's that storm system right there, that little tropical system there, but it's so far out. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of confidence in any of these models handling it because I think they underestimate it. I really do. They underestimate the factor that these tropical storms are bringing. So let's look at the... I want to also look at precipitation, actually, so I'm going to just take this out to the North American and just look at precipitation. I could have used WPC for that, actually. So we go to QPF. Precipitation. We'll do days 1 through 7, and you'll see it's got us on the borderline of getting a decent amount of precipitation. It looks like it's more to the south, not so much precipitation over us. A lot in the upper Midwest again, and look at that. The West is just bone dry, which is not good at all. We could start seeing a lot of big problems with wildfires as well. This shows some rain in parts of Canada, but if I want the wider view, I'm going to have to go to the due to this total accumulated precip on the GFS. So let's move this along here. And you'll see already just showing some rains in eastern Canada. So it's not showing terribly dry conditions. It is showing some rains in Alaska too as well. So not terribly dry conditions. And the main issue, the main area where wildfires can be a problem is the west, perhaps into British Columbia. I think that because that's where it's staying very, very dry. So let's go back to the CONUS view, and we will actually go and look at our let's switch this. Let's go to the we'll go more to the short range now. HRRR, 0Z HRRR, and obviously I don't think there'll be a whole lot of precipitation in the next 48 hours in our area. You see that high over there keeps us dry. As far out as we got to Wednesday night. Let's get our dew points and wind flow. So as we head into tonight, you'll see the winds start becoming a little more easterly. Still stay northerly, northeast tomorrow, and then it's going to become still northeast. And then as you get toward the afternoon, they start backing off to the east and then southeast and then south as we get toward the evening. But the dew points are pretty low. We might even see lower dew points tomorrow than today. And then for Wednesday, still staying fairly comfortable. Dew points still look like they're still fairly comfortable, mainly in the 50s. And then you see as well, it's as far out as we've got. But it will be comfortable the next 48 hours, which is good. Looking at temperatures. Tonight, temperatures will probably drop into the low 60s, probably, except in my alley, of course. And then for Tuesday, temperatures similar to today, I think low 80s, but there will be more of a sea breeze later on in the afternoon. That'll drop things to the 70s, closer to the shores. And then tomorrow night actually might wind up being a little cooler than the night. We might actually see some 50s, perhaps, being that we just had that sea breeze come in and cool things down a little bit. And then for Wednesday, you'll see temperatures also fairly pleasant, low 80s again. So it's gonna be comfortable. That's the good news in all this. Now I do want to look at some soundings as far as skies go for tomorrow, because the only issue we may have is with some cirrus. You can see there is some upper level moisture showing up even at 16Z, which is 11 o'clock. You start seeing a little bit of upper level moisture, and then as you work your way through the afternoon, 19Z, you probably see a lot more of it. These lines are almost touching, probably, if it ever pops up again. A spinning circle again. Just doesn't want to load. We'll try it one more time. Yeah, you can see how those lines are kind of close together. So that could show that we may be dealing with some jet chunk and upper level clouds as well as we head into Tuesday. Now, I want to go on further in the longer range here. after we cover after we cover the skies. So let's use the RGEM model for that. So the RGEM kind of shows it up kind of nicely here. You see there might even be a little bit of cumulus popping up, perhaps inland, perhaps. You can see the marine flow. You can see there's a little bit, especially toward the afternoon. You see just the slightest bit there might be more jet junk than anything, because again, a lot of times what will happen is there are no clouds, but the atmospheric moisture's high, and then you take a freaking plane that goes through, and it creates a contrail, and then it just doesn't dissipate. I hate that. All right. And then Wednesday we'll probably have a similar deal with some cirrus around and a couple of moisture, but still plenty of sun. And then as we get into Thursday, you'll start seeing the clouds kind of increase. Thursday, July 4th, obviously, we'll see increasing clouds and the chance for some showers as we get toward the evening. Now, I don't have any short-range models that go out that far other than the RGEM, which I'm not going to use. But we can look at the GFS now and take a look at GFS. You can see there could be a scattered shower around on Thursday, perhaps. And the same thing Friday, maybe a little bit. Saturday, Sunday. But again, probably won't even amount to that much. Look at the total accumulated precip. Yeah, it almost keeps Long Island dry. It has more of the activity off to the south and the west. So we may stay dry most of the weekend, I think. So the rainfall may still be kind of below normal at this point. Obviously, let's shift over and look at the dew points. Show you how things are going to change as we get into Thursday. So dew points, you'll see as we get to Thursday, the humidity starts rising. It won't be terrible. Dew points generally in the 60s. Looks like the 70-degree dew points stay off to the south and the west. And then that kind of continues. You can see there's a front that tries to make its way in from the north, but it's just going to get stuck. And you can see the humidity starts. And the weekend's going to be on the humid side. The humidity really starts cranking up, I think, as we get into Saturday. You'll see the dew points. But you notice the southerly flow off the ocean, so it should generally keep things cooler. Here's Sunday. We're still staying in the humidity. Here's Monday. So you can see that the humidity isn't really going to go anywhere for a while. We're going to be dealing with humid air mass. And then maybe we could try to get this front through by the second weekend in July, perhaps. This is way, way out. All right. Temperatures, just for fun, we'll go ahead and look at that. Now, you notice here it has its cooler, a lot cooler on the 4th. So this is going to indicate a lot of cloud cover for the 4th. And then as we get into Friday, you'll see the temperature start to rise. 90 inland, mid to 80s on Long Island. Cooler again on Saturday, probably more cloud cover. And then here we go again, near 90 on Sunday in certain inland. But I don't see any crazy amounts of heat here. Moving this along here, I'll just move this right to the end here. See, it's warm, but nothing crazy. But this could always change. So that jet stream to where it is, I wouldn't be surprised if the model starts amping up the heat quite a bit. It may just be underestimating it at this point. So let's go and look at, now that we looked at all that, I guess we're going to look at the Climate Prediction Center. All right, here we go. So 6 to 10 day outlook. Above normal for the East Coast. The entire East Coast, excellent chances of above normal. So they agree. A lot of heat also in the West, even more heat in the West. Almost certainly the temperature is going to be well above normal. Only near normal in the middle of the country. Kind of see where the trough is. Kind of shows where the trough is. Precipitation well below normal in the Northwest. So there's going to be a big problem with that, with the fires. Above normal in Alaska, though. That's the good news. I know they've had some fires there. And slight chance of above normal for most of the East Coast. The only area that's heavily got a chance of above normal is Texas, and they could see some of that moisture from Beryl. 8 to 14 day. Most of the country is above normal. Guess the best chances at the coasts. And precipitation, again, the only area that's above normal, that's really got a really good chance of above normal precipitation, is South Texas and the Southwest. Believe it or not, I know they've been dry there, but still below normal, especially in the Northwest, for precipitation. And Alaska temperatures will be below normal. So you see, I just looked at that. I don't think I noticed Alaska probably be below normal as well. So cooler in Alaska and a little wetter. So I know they've had some fires, and that's the last thing we're going to talk about here is where's that smoke coming from? So let's go back to the satellite here and talk about that. We'll look at the CONUS first of all. So we'll look at the CONUS view, and it'll kind of help us determine where it's coming from. You can also see some smoke even here up, and I don't know where the hell that's coming from, but I see the haze. Might also be some Saharan dust, too, as well. Perhaps? I don't know. It didn't seem to stop Beryl. We'll go. So, I don't know. I know some people have been bringing that up. But you see, let's look at the north here. Figure out where that smoke is coming from. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of smoke coming. It looks like we have some pretty big wildfires in the Northwest Territories of Canada right now. Yeah, that looks bad. That looks really bad. We'll have to go to the MODIS and look at that as well. But yeah, it looks like there's some pretty big wildfires. It looks like up in the Northwest Territories. I don't think it's Alaska so much, but let's see if we can get a better view. Do southeastern Alaska loop. Try to find where these wildfires are burning. It's hard because there are a lot of clouds here as well. These could be showers and thunderstorms possibly popping up, but they could just create more lightning, which could create more wildfires. Let's go to the MODIS. I think maybe that'll give us a better idea of what we're seeing up here before I wrap this weather update up. Intermittent issues. Oh, lovely. All right, let's figure out where these fires are. It looks like they're in the Northwest Territories to me. And parts of northwestern Alberta and parts of the Northwest Territories. I see some smoke over there, but you can see that's where the smoke's coming from. And then I know there's been some fires in Alaska too. Can't really see because of the clouds. But what we can do is we can add a layer. We can add a fire layer here, which is what we'll do here. Fires and thermal anomalies, and we can add the fire layer here. And we'll go ahead and do that. So let's do that. This will show where the fires are. So we have fires in Alaska and fires in the Northwest Territories, British Columbia, and Alberta. So there are some fires. Nothing as big as what we've had. It's also showing some fires up here, over here, too. I don't know if those are actual fires in Quebec. But we're starting to see that smoke already. So we're starting to see that. So hopefully they get some rain over here, but it looks like there's some pretty big fires going on in Alberta right now, and also the Northwest Territories as well. So definitely something to, let's see if we can, all right. Yeah, you can see that's where the smoke's coming from. So there's going to be maybe a slight bit of haze in the air, perhaps. I guess I can pull out the smoke model. Let's pull out the smoke model. This will be the RAP smoke model, because now let's get the long one, 21. I think the 21 goes out further. So let's do the vertically integrated smoke and see what's going on here with this. The RAP is better with the Canadian fires in Canada. So, yeah, it's very little bit, but you can see there is, yeah, it is showing some here. Might be underestimating a little bit. Yeah, you can see that it is showing some smoke popping up over here as well. Also some in California as well. But it doesn't show any really significant smoke for us. I'll look at one other model. That would be the HRRR smoke run. And 0Z for that. And vertically integrated smoke there. And we'll see if this picks it up any better than the other one. There's a little bit there, but not really very much. And I think most of it stays to the north. So we should see some blue skies. I think the jet shark is going to be more of a concern for tomorrow. So that wraps it up. Get out there and enjoy this nice weather, because, again, we don't know. We don't know. You know, we don't know. Once we get into this ridge pattern, it sets back up again. It could be quite humid and junky, and not nice to be outside. So, with that, wraps up this Long Island weather update and outlook. Have a good night.